The American Civil War stands as a defining chapter in the nation's history, profoundly shaping its trajectory in enduring ways. While the war's battles and strategic maneuvers are meticulously examined, the individuals donning the uniforms, particularly the generals who steered armies through the tumult, are sometimes overshadowed. These commanders bore not only the weight of authority, but also the immense burden of leadership in the crucible of conflict. Far from merely issuing directives from a safe distance, most of these generals led their troops through the heart of battle, exemplifying valor and strategic acumen that defined their roles. Despite the Confederacy's cause being widely condemned for its defense of slavery and secession, the military prowess, bravery, and ingenuity of its generals remained undeniable. Their legacy, though entangled with a controversial cause, serves as a testament to their tactical brilliance and unyielding resolve. Before ranking the Confederate generals, an honorable mention goes to John Bell Hood, whose meteoric rise and tragic fall encapsulate the complexities of wartime leadership. At the Civil War's outset, Hood joined the Confederate Army, his aggressive tactics and bold demeanor propelling him swiftly through the ranks. By July 18, 1864, at the age of 33, he was promoted to temporary full general and tasked with leading the Army of Tennessee during the critical Atlanta campaign, making him the youngest officer on either side to command an army. Renowned historian Bruce Catton described the decision to replace General Joseph E. Johnston with Hood as perhaps the single gravest error made by either government during the war, a judgment rooted in Hood's string of costly defeats. His unrelenting aggression led to the loss of Atlanta and culminated in the catastrophic Franklin Natural Campaign of 1864, which decimated the Army of Tennessee as a viable fighting force. Hood's leadership, once a beacon of Confederate ambition, became a cautionary tale of audacity pushed beyond its limits. His promotion to full general was never ratified by the Confederate Senate, and by January 23, 1865, he reverted to lieutenant general, cementing his place as an honorable mention rather than a ranked figure. Kicking off the ranking in number 7 is Samuel Cooper, often overlooked due to his administrative role. Born in 1798, Cooper was a West Point graduate who resigned from the U.S. Army in March 1861 to join the Confederacy. As the adjutant and inspector general, he held the highest rank in the Confederate Army but never led troops in the field or engaged in combat. His organizational genius was indispensable, streamlining logistics and maintaining the Confederacy's military structure under immense strain. Yet his lack of battlefield experience places him last on this list, as his contributions, though vital, were confined to the war's bureaucratic backbone. And number 6 is Braxton Bragg, a figure whose military career was marked by both promise and profound shortcomings. By the Civil War's onset, Bragg was a seasoned officer whose early efforts in organizing and training troops in Pensacola, Florida, earned him a promotion to Major General, and by 1862, the full general. This strategic mind shown in moments like the Battle of Chickamauga, where he secured a rare Confederate victory in the Western Theater. However, Bragg's tenure was marred by incessant conflicts with subordinates and an inability to capitalize on battlefield successes. His harsh, authoritarian leadership style alienated his troops, as vividly captured by Private Sam Watkins, later a noted writer, who wrote in his memoirs, "Bragg's men never held him in esteem. They doubted his competence as a commander and saw him as a ruthless autocrat who sought to break their spirit." This sentiment reflects the widespread discontent among his ranks, which, combined with his battlefield failures, nearly relegates him to the bottom of this list, saved only by Cooper's lack of combat experience. Entering the top 5 at number 5 is P.G.T. Beauregard, a charismatic and ambitious leader whose early triumphs electrified the Confederacy. Born in 1818 in Louisiana, Pierre Gustave Toutant Beauregard graduated from West Point in 1838 and entered the Civil War with a formidable reputation. Appointed the Confederacy's first brigadier general, he gained instant prominence by orchestrating the bombardment of Fort Sumter in April 1861, igniting the war. His leadership at the First Battle of Bull Run, alongside General Joseph E. Johnston, secured a pivotal Confederate victory, bolstering Southern morale. Transferred to the Western Theater, Beauregard played a central role at the Battle of Shiloh in 1862, but his failure to sustain an early advantage led to a devastating Confederate loss. His flamboyant style and strategic flair were tempered by later conflicts with superiors and inconsistent battlefield results, which limited his overall impact. Nevertheless, Beauregard's early contributions laid a foundation for Confederate military confidence, making him a significant, if flawed, figure. And number 4 is Joseph E. Johnston, a seasoned commander whose cautious approach both served and hindered the Confederate cause. A high-ranking U.S. Army officer before the war, Johnston resigned in 1861 to join the Confederacy, bringing with him a wealth of experience. His role in the Confederate victory at the First Battle of Bull Run showcased his tactical skill, but his conservative strategy and frequent clashes with President Jefferson Davis undermined his effectiveness. Wounded during the Peninsula Campaign in 1862, he was replaced by Robert E. Lee, a shift that altered the war's course. Later, Johnston's defensive tactics as commander of the Army of Tennessee delayed Union advances during the Atlanta Campaign, but his reluctance to engage decisively led to his removal in 1864. Reinstated in 1865 to lead forces in the Carolinas, he surrendered to William T. Sherman in April 1865. Shortly after Lee's capitulation at Appomattox, Johnston's legacy is one of unrealized potential, marked by strategic prudence but lacking the bold victories needed to alter the war's outcome. Securing the third spot is Edmund Kirby Smith, a lesser-known but highly effective commander. Born in 1824, Smith led the Trans-Mississippi Department, a vast and isolated region critical to Confederate supply lines. Despite limited resources and separation from the war's main theaters, Smith repelled multiple Union incursions, maintaining Confederate control in the West longer than seemed feasible. His innovative leadership and ability to operate independently under challenging conditions earned him respect, though he never commanded a major army like his peers. Smith was among the last Confederate generals to surrender, doing so in June 1865, nearly 2 months after Lee's defeat, a testament to his tenacity and strategic endurance. At number 2 is Albert Sidney Johnston, a towering figure whose untimely death left an indelible mark on the Confederacy. By 1861, Johnston was one of the South's most revered officers, known for his disciplined leadership and strategic foresight. As commander of the Western Department, he oversaw critical regions along the Mississippi River. His early successes, including organizing Confederate forces in the Western Theater, raised hopes for a robust defense. At the Battle of Shiloh in 1862, Johnston led with inspiring courage but was fatally wounded, a loss that reverberated through the Confederacy. His death deprived the South of a commander whose strategic vision and leadership might have altered the war's trajectory, leaving a legacy of what could have been. Topping the list, as many might anticipate, is Robert E. Lee, the Confederacy's most iconic general. When Virginia seceded in 1861, Lee faced a wrenching choice, declining command of the Union Army to serve his home state. As commander of the Army of Northern Virginia, he became the Confederacy's most formidable leader, securing legendary victories at Fredericksburg, Chancellorsville, and Second Bull Run. His audacious tactics and ability to inspire loyalty made him a symbol of Southern resilience. However, his defeat at Gettysburg in 1863, a bold but cautious invasion of the North, marked a turning point, sapping Confederate morale and resources. Lee's surrender at Appomattox in April 1865 signaled the war's end. Widely regarded as one of America's greatest military minds, Lee's legacy is a complex tapestry of tactical genius, personal honor, and the burdens of leading a doomed cause. His leadership remains a cornerstone of military history, studied for its brilliance and its lessons in the face of overwhelming odds. There you have it, a ranking of the 7 most notable Confederate generals, from the least effective to the most impactful, whose contributions shaped the South's military efforts during the Civil War.